Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I'm right.
And I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
And we have good news.
Yes, we do. We do.
Yes.
Okay. What's that?
So first, normally when we record our episodes, there's always the sound of mowers in the background.
You're right. The landscape man is not outside. No blowers, no lawn mowers.
It's amazing.
This is great.
Yes.
He might be waiting around the corner for us to start.
I know, right? And then we also have good news about one of our episodes.
Uh-huh.
When we did the episode about living like a child, it really resonated with people.
Really?
Yes, we had a spike in our numbers.
A spike. I wonder why that was. I mean, what is it?
I don't know.
I'm really curious. I would love to hear from our listeners.
Yes.
To find out what it was.
Yes. And speaking of hearing from our listeners, we discovered a few weeks ago, but we're just now telling our listeners that you can text our number, which is 404-594-2247.
Yes.
You can actually text.
Yeah,
if you
can
don't
text
want
that number.
Your voice, if you don't like the sound of your voice, but that's how you want to communicate with us.
And we can't answer with a text.
Right. We'll answer on the podcast.
But we'll answer on the podcast.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Yes. So you can text us too.
Just text. So you can text, you can call, you can email, you can.
No,
we don't have an email? Sure we do.
Well, we do, it's not through my site.
Through your site.
But most people wouldn't use it for that. You can comment on the site though.
Yeah.
On the podcaster page.
Yeah. Okay.
So
great.
And my site is jillcoxcordova.com.
I'm looking forward to hearing from our listeners in text.
Yes.
Not text.
Sure.
That would be cool.
But this week's episode is about work husbands and work wives. It's part of an episode. Oh, not an episode. It's part of a segment that we call Stand by Your Stance. So this was your idea.
It was?
Yes.
It was?
Because you believe I have had a work husband, and I don't believe I have.
Yes, you probably had some work husbands that you kept on the down low, but
no,
I don't know about those.
I never did.
But
that reminds me, in a previous role, in one of my jobs that I had before, I had a boss whom I didn't really like him as a person, but I'm the kind of person that I don't have to like you to work with you.
Okay.
You know, we have a task to do, we can get it done.
Mm-hmm.
So one day he knew he was aware that I didn't really care for him.
Okay.
And so he asked to meet with me. And during that meeting, he said that he wanted that we were work spouses and that we needed to manage our team as though we're the parents.
Oh, well, that's a different angle.
Like a work spouse, like spouses would do.
With their children.
Yeah. So, I've never given birth to anyone, first of all. And then second of all, I just didn't like him as a person.
Uh-huh.
So I told him, no, we are not work spouses and we never will be. And he was so offended by that. But I meant it.
You hurt his feelings, Jill.
I don't know if he had feelings. Like I don't know if
everybody has feelings.
Well, to have feelings, you got to have like a heart or something or be conscious of it. And I'm not sure he had that.
Oh my.
I really didn't like him.
What was his name? What is his name?
I'm not going to say.
Come on.
But he knows who he is.
Come on.
He knows who he is. And probably other people who have worked with me know who I'm speaking of. But I was really put off by that because I don't, in a workplace, even if my team is younger than me, which is often the
Yeah, you don't
case.
need to look at them as
I'm not
children and their
their parent.
parent.
In fact, when I was teaching teenagers, the first thing I would tell them is, I am not your mother. I am not.
Ah, Jill.
So I
Well,
don't think but that's not who you called my work husband.
no, your work husband was at the AWC, the Atlanta Writers Club, which
Yes.
we both are members of.
Yes.
But at the time, you were on the board. You were a board member.
Yes. Yes. That is part of my history with the
And
AWC.
yes, and this particular person, you and him had to work hand in hand
Yes.
all the time. And
Yes.
you were doing a lot of work. And you would
Yes.
get frustrated and you would vent your frustration to me. I'm doing too much work. I'm doing too much work.
I
And
would vent to him too. He
you,
heard about it
so
too.
you had that, the kind of, your work husband and you weren't like you and I. It was a completely different interaction.
Which is why I I guess I don't
You
really
didn't
know what a
under
work husband
you
is
didn't understand
because
that.
I didn't have that kind of
Yeah,
relationship
but
with
see,
him.
I would
Because
say,
he and I were not peers. We were not peers. We were not equals. Like I believe marriages should be. So whether it's work related or in actuality.
but you don't have to be peers. You don't have to be on the same level
I
within your
think you
job.
do
No, 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 no.
because
Because
then it
I have
becomes
seen many work husband and wife relationships or work relationships where one person may be like levels below the other one, but yet the one that's lower
yes.
actually has control over the one that's higher.
Well, in the first example that I gave, he was my boss. He was my immediate boss.
Yeah, but
And
sometimes the
so I don't
underling.
feel that could work at all as a work spouse situation because I would always have to do what he said, which was the problem because most of the
Oh,
time
but
I
see,
didn't
but
agree with
see,
anything that he
but
said to
but
do.
see, in some work husband and wife relationships, uh, the 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 boss does what underling says, what the person underneath them says.
Well,
I mean,
that was not
does, yes, yeah,
that
they
was
do.
not that was not the
But
case.
it can happen anyway, just like in a relationship.
Well, I do believe you can organically,
Yeah,
have a bond with someone that you're
yeah,
working with to achieve the same task.
yeah.
But I do believe it needs to start with both of you like and respect the other.
Oh,
It
what do
needs to
you?
start with that.
But it doesn't always. There's many are just like regular marriages where the husband and wife don't respect each other. There's many like
And they
that,
often end in divorce.
and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just, well, this is life. Sometimes they like to fight.
I don't like to fight.
But that's you. But sometimes, so I'm saying there's all different types of, work husband and wife relationships. It's all different types. It doesn't mean it's going to be all happy and good, but they work together and they can maybe have an argument and have a disagreement and slam a door and then, hey, we're gonna have lunch today,
I have
one of
never been
one
that
of
person.
no, you are not that person, but people have those types of
I
relationships and
understand that.
they're good with it. It works for them.
I understand
So
that.
let's get back to
But
the AWC.
well, what I was going to say was the difference between the AWC person that you said was my work husband and the person I was describing before is that the first person I really disliked. He was like my enemy.
Yeah, this is a real
And
problem for you because no matter how I try to steer you away from this first one, you
getting
keep
to
going back to
but I'm
him.
getting to the second one of how I viewed that relationship.
Do you need to sit
The
on my
relationship
couch, Jill? Sit down on my couch.
I didn't know where you were
And put-
going with that sentence. sit where?
sit
Uh,
on my
couch.
couch. Yes, and so
But I'm getting
therapy.
away. I'm
I'm
comparing the two types of relationships. First one, didn't like him. He was my enemy. Therefore, we could never be any type of work spouse, have a work spouse situation. And the second one, I actually liked the person. I just
yeah,
didn't like all the work that he gave me to do.
okay.
So I left
Well,
because it was
you
more work for
you
that than it was for
you
my actual job.
yes, well, you and your work husband,
But I
like,
like him.
but and then in some ways you guys really worked well together.
Oh, we got things done.
Yes, and
Yes. He is an achiever.
I've watched when a speaker didn't show up or had to cancel on the last minute, and we had time to fill. There's no one
Right.
there.
Right. And he had a
So
great idea
it was
for us
just to
to do
just do
something
a Q and
together.
A
Right.
together,
Right.
impromptu.
Right. Which went
You've
very
never done it before
no.
together,
No. And I didn't
and it
even
went.
have, you know, but again, I walk into the door that day. I walk in that day and I hear, hey, you're doing an impromptu session with what you call my work husband.
Mhm.
I'm like, what? Who said I was going to do that? But I didn't have time, but I understood the situation. The
Yes.
situation was needed time to fill.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And we did it. We
You
did
did
it well.
Did it very well.
But again, I like him, and so it worked well.
But then you divorced your work husband.
Because it became more work for him than it did for my actual paid
I'm
job.
glad that he recently got married, like,
yes,
for real.
And I helped him spend more time with the person who's now his
wife is a wonderful person.
Yes,
she's fabulous.
Yes. So I still respect him, and I love I do love them both as individuals, but especially as a couple.
So, do you think their relationship is different within the AWC than it is in their marriage?
Yes. I'm sure of it.
So there is a difference.
Yes.
So,
but
and we have a podcast together, which is kind of like we do work. We work
really.
together. We work together on this podcast. we work together.
But it's not the same as work because these if anyone knows both of us and have been around us for any length of time, they know that we are basically just recording the conversations we would actually have.
Yeah, but anybody that knows you, it's hard work keeping up with a conversation with you, Jill.
Huh?
It's hard work. It's hard.
I don't know what you're saying. What do you mean?
You're so intelligent and so sharp.
Please.
It's hard for me to keep up. Just to keep up.
That is not
just
true.
To have a conversation with you.
That is not true. Why are you making stuff up?
It is very true.
No,
it's hard
not.
to keep a steady conversation with you.
That is not true.
I don't want to put my foot in my mouth.
When we dated, we would sit on your deck and have these same exact kind of conversations.
No, we wouldn't.
For hours.
No.
Yes, we would. Ask your brother. He was there. So this is no different. So you've been keeping up with me for 17 years now?
I don't know, because my brother would keep score.
Well, I always won.
See, that goes to show you.
But you kept up.
I must not have kept up too well if I lost.
Well, that was your brother's opinion that you lost, and I embraced it.
What the what? What? Whoa, what? Huh?
But back to today's topic. Today's topic.
So you're not my wife and my work wife also? My wife and my work wife?
I am just your wife. Why are you trying to make me another kind of wife? No, I am your wife, period.
Doesn't a wife wear many hats?
Trying to demote
Doesn't
me.
a wife wear many hats?
Yes, but the title is still wife.
No, but it's also Also, wife, also work wife. I work with you. We work together on many projects, actually.
We do, and we're great partners in that aspect.
But it
But I
wasn't
am
all.
still your wife.
But it
Do
wasn't.
not call me your work
No,
wife.
it wasn't always that way. We didn't always work well in a work situation
In an
together.
actual work situation, that is correct.
Yes, we
That
did.
is correct.
Well, I think this is an actual work situation.
Not really. No
But
one's paying us
no,
to do
no, no.
this.
Yeah, we had to. I had to. Hmm. Listeners,
This is an
listeners,
organic
listeners,
conversation.
listeners. Boy, when I was Jill's work husband, she was rough on me.
You
She
were
was
never
rough.
my work
And I
husband.
had to draw the line. I had to say, hey,
They've
remember,
heard this story
I'm your
before.
husband.
See, you were not my work husband. You were my husband. So see, it
but
works both
but
ways.
yeah, but we actually, but see, if I wasn't your husband, I would have had to keep my mouth shut.
That's right. So you weren't my work husband. See?
Well,
See, I
but
changed my behavior after you reminded me that you were my husband and not my subordinate.
yeah, well, how long was it before we started working together well?
Well, I don't know because you wouldn't give me a chance to do that. I would say, "Hey, why don't we do such and such together?" Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nope. So it was what that we've been doing this. This is our third year of doing this. So 3 years ago was when we
No,
started working
no,
together.
no, no,
Well,
no. We started working together well long before then.
really? On what?
I don't know. We've gotten involved in so many things. Oh, okay. Since we're talking about the AWC together, we worked very well together at the AWC.
We did, but does that make you a work husband for them too? Because it wasn't
No,
our
I'm not his
relationship.
work husband.
Were you then at the time? You did as just much work as I did. Well,
Maybe I
actually, I did a little
was.
more.
We'll
Maybe
have to
you
ask him
were.
the next time we see him. I might have been and didn't
You might have
know.
been. See? See? You did as much work as I did. Well,
Oh,
almost as much work.
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so all right, let's.
Listeners, I wish you could see Tony's face right now
Okay,
because
okay,
he's like, man,
man.
like a light just bulb just went off.
Yeah, I may have been a work husband.
But that's the thing about us when we're somewhat of a package deal, and
Somewhat.
and so when I left, you left.
Yep. That's right. Oh boy. Oh boy.
But we should say that he really liked being called that
He
when
did.
because you said it to his
Yes.
face the last time we actually did work
Hmm.
together, and he loved it.
Sure
Whereas
did.
I guess I'm just not. I don't know where this term work
It's
husband
the
work wife comes from, but I don't think I've ever liked it.
it's no, but there well, you haven't, but uh it actually happens.
I know. I've witnessed other people who say, "Oh, so and so is my work husband. Oh, so and so is my work wife." And what I've noticed about them is that they like and respect each other first, and they might disagree over something, kind of like you and I do in
Hmm.
everyday life, but you know that they love and respect each other and actually enjoy working
Yeah,
together.
and have each
I've
other's
not had
back.
that
Yeah.
situation.
Well,
Except, the second person I did like as a person, I just didn't like doing all the work.
yeah. Well, as I said, I don't think I had a work wife or a husband because I usually work by myself.
Right.
But I have been a contractor for several different companies, and I would, get to know everybody that was in the office and all of that. And I have seen many couples that were not married, they were married, in their own life, but
To other people.
yes,
Yes.
but at work, they would definitely work husband and wife. I've seen them, you know, get in these arguments, like for real arguments. And then they'd say, well, it's 12 o'clock. Let's go to lunch. And they go to lunch together and all was good.
I'm just not that person. Are you?
I don't know. I have nothing to base it on. I've never been in that situation, so I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know, Jill. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this question. So, since you claim that I had at least one work husband that you're aware of, uh, so for our listeners' sake, how does if our listeners have work spouses and but they also have relationships, in their personal life, can one affect the other?
Well, in some cases, because I think there's a line when it comes to having a work spouse,
Mm-hmm.
and there definitely cannot be anything sexual
Right.
between the two. They have to have, ultimate respect for each other and all of that. So there's nothing else. But that line gets blurred where one or both are in like really bad marriages, real marriages. And then at work, they develop this work husband and wife relationship and they work together.
So they have the emotional connection with their work spouse, and they may not
Yeah.
have it with their actual spouse, and that could be an
Yes.
issue. Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
that can be an issue because it can turn into something
Well,
more.
what if it's what in the cases where I've heard people call someone their work spouse, they do have a wonderful relationship, a
Mhm.
wonderful working relationship, and it there is nothing sexual about it.
Right.
But I have heard also in those same cases where one person's actual spouse just got tired of hearing the other person's
Talk about
name, and
yeah.
so they started suspecting that there was more when there
Right.
really wasn't. Like we could all attest that there really wasn't, but the actual spouse was, in my opinion, a bit insecure
Okay.
because they kept hearing this other person's name and seemed a little threatened by it.
But what if the person that seemed threatened by it, let's say maybe they were a little insecure, but if they voiced that and said, I really don't like it when you talk about him or her all the time. Please just, leave that at the office and
But
don't
even if
bring
they
it
did, like,
home.
let's say, okay, I'll stop talking about my work spouse. It's still in that, if the person is truly insecure, it's still in their head that you're working with this other person all the time. And now they're like, their minds go crazy and they're wondering, what's really going on? Because it's already in their head. They're insecure. What do you do then?
So you're saying if they're insecure, it doesn't matter what you say, no matter what you do, doesn't matter, they're still going to be
Because
insecure.
now they've already felt threatened and they can't quite shake it.
Hmm.
And I say this because even though I don't believe I've ever had a work husband, I have dated people who felt threatened.
But
And you
what?
know what I did?
What?
I stopped dating that person because they were insecure
Okay.
and I
Okay.
needed them to trust
Okay.
me, to
Okay.
trust
So,
me.
but what if the person that was feeling insecure
Right.
saw something that their spouse didn't see?
About the
Saw
other
that,
person
yeah,
or
that the
about the
other that the
relationship?
other person really did like their spouse and
Oh.
was like playing the friend zone kind of thing, the work
Well, you
husband
yourself have said that
friend
once somebody puts
zone.
you in the friend zone, they usually keep you there.
Yeah, but the people that are in friend zones don't. don't know that. That's the problem. That's why they stay in the friend zone. They don't know
Okay.
once they're in the friend zone, they stay in the friend zone, but they don't know that.
We
So
should do a whole
they just
episode
keep,
about the friend zone. But yes, you're right.
yeah.
Well, okay. Well, let's go to our second segment that we call
Give it a rest and a resolution.
I agree with what you just said. So what's your conclusion, resolution overall on this topic?
I really wanted to talk about this a lot longer.
Well, we have a finite amount of time.
Not yet. I was on a roll and you interrupted me.
So say it now.
I can't keep up with you, Jill. You know that.
You're the I forgot man again. Is that what you-
Yes. No, well, I think actually that, work spouses can be a good thing. Just as long as they really do, respect each other, and there is absolutely no sexual connection at all. I think that can work.
Well, I think the term is really stupid, and I don't believe that we should label when we have great working relationships with people. Just say it, call it that.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't think you have to label it.
There's all types of work relationships that you can have a good working relationship with a colleague, and it's all good. But the ones that we say are work spouses,
Yeah.
theirs is a little. The dynamic is a little different.
But
They
why do you have
speak
to label
each other
it?
because it's different. It is different.
We don't have to label it. Not
If-
everything deserves
If
a
a
label.
wall is red, how do you call it a red wall if you don't want to label it red?
What?
Yes. Yeah. See what I'm saying, Jill?
Not everything should be labeled.
Yeah, but you have to be able to call something something. This is a mic in front of me. It's a mic. Their work relationship is like their work husband and wife. That's the type of relationship. The other ones, oh yeah, they're just colleagues. They work together. But this other couple, they have something different, something special that's different than the relationship with everyone else there. So you have to call it something.
No, you don't. But
You
let's get
do.
to our third segment.
You do, Jill.
Let's get to our third segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
advice.
My advice is if you're like Jill and you do not like that term work husband or work husband, spouse, wife, whatever you want to call it. If you're like Jill,
Be like Jill.
no,
Be like Jill.
just don't get a job where you work with people.
Wow. That's extreme.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. Get a job where you can work by yourself. Then you don't have to worry about being labeled as a work spouse.
You know what? I actually did that. I actually did that. Huh. Didn't realize. Okay. Well, my advice is if you do have a special kind of relationship, whatever you call it, with someone, and it could affect your personal relationship, consider again the label that you're going to give something to somebody. I'm so against labels in the first place, so this one is no different.
Sometimes you have to call something, Jill. Everything isn't that thing over there.
Well, anyway, sometimes don't let your professional lines blur with your personal ones. That's my advice. Let's get to our last segment quickly that we call
So, what do you think?
What do you think? Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
We would like to hear from listeners.
That's right. And that number is 404-594-2247.
And again, you can text, call, or just leave a comment on our blog. Well, shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Nick Zinke for the art, You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm right, and we love you all.
We do, and I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
That's it. Bye.
Bye-bye.